Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope all of you are doing fine. Life often puts us in difficulties that seem invincible, situations where no one can save you. For moments like these, Allah has taught us the story of Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam or Prophet Jonah, who was trapped in the belly of a whale. The Quran tells us that he called upon Allah from inside the belly of the whale with the prayer, La ilaha illa anta subhanak, inni kuntu minaz zalimeen. There is no God worthy of worship except you. Glory be to you. I have certainly been among the wrongdoers. And because of this prayer, Allah saved him from the whale and got him out. And after this verse, Allah assures us, and so do we save the believers. This is a divine guarantee that no matter how overwhelming our troubles may be, when we seek Allah's help through this prayer, help will come. So today I will share with you one of the most difficult situations we have been in and how Allah saved us. Our house was divided between my father and his brother's family. We lived on the ground floor with my grandparents, while my uncle's family lived upstairs. But my uncle's wife, my aunt, made our life a living hell, tormenting us continuously. Let me share just a few incidents so you can understand what we were going through. We faced persistent harassment almost daily. Every time my aunt cleaned her rooms upstairs, she would throw dirty water straight down onto our porch below. She would do this every few days. Many relatives would plead with her to stop doing this, but she was so evil and fearless that nothing affected her. One day, my mother was all dressed up and about to leave for a wedding when my aunt dumped dirty water on her and said, You have to keep enduring this. There was another disturbing incident in our home's garden. We had planted young fruit trees in our garden, delicate and new, needing careful protection. One day, my cousin gathered his niece and some other kids to play football in the garden. My grandfather, who was always protective of those saplings, gently told them not to play there, worried the trees might get damaged. Instead of listening respectfully, my cousin started a fight with my grandfather, lashing out at him, calling him a thief, and shouting, Go search for your garden in the courtrooms. This is ours, not yours. He turned to the kids and encouraged them to ignore my grandfather, saying, He's crazy. You kids keep playing. During COVID, my father was in home quarantine and used a separate back entrance and left his slippers there while using the garden toilet. After quarantine was over and he returned to using the main front entrance, bringing the slippers with him, suddenly my cousin began searching for these slippers near our entrance, shouting to his mother that he had found them, even though they were not even his. Instantly, my aunt emerged and started shouting, These thieves must have stolen it. Situation quickly turned into a loud and heated argument, almost escalating to a physical fight. All of this over slippers that did not even belong to them. One last incident. Once a plumber came to check the water tanks in our hall, situated on the third floor. As soon as my father opened the hall, my aunt rushed in with a bed, trying to take the possession of the hall. Upon stopping her, both my uncle and cousin attacked my father, which turned into a fight so big that the whole of neighborhood came to witness it. These were just a few examples out of the endless harassment we often faced. Living in our own home had become a constant source of stress and depression. Later, when my grandparents' property was divided, my father's share came with a big responsibility. He had to pay my uncle about $36,000. My father did not have that much money all at once, so my uncle used this as an excuse to continue living in our house, causing fights and damage to the property. Even after my father paid him a partial amount, the rest of the money kept becoming a source of conflict. My uncle and my cousin openly declared, We will not leave this house for at least 3 to 4 years until we complete the construction of our new house. Every day felt like a battle, and I was desperate for Allah's help. At this point, I turned wholeheartedly to the prayer of Prophet Yunus, peace be upon him. After every salah, I recited the prayer of Prophet Yunus 23 to 25 times with Durood Sharif before and after. Sometimes I recited the prayer of Prophet Yunus 70 times. At night, I would wake up for tahajjud, crying and begging Allah to make them leave our house very soon. Allah has promised that He rescues His believing servants through this tasbeeh, through this prayer. and I had full faith that He would rescue us too. I continued this practice for months. Not long after I began reciting the tasbih regularly, another incident shook our house. At that time, we were facing a severe water shortage. For weeks, there was almost no water inside the house. The only place we could get it was from a tap in the yard. It was difficult to manage. One day, without informing us, my cousin brought a plumber to our home. The man was standing there with his pipe wrench, ready to open our water connection pipes. Imagine that. This was our house, our property, and they did not even ask for permission. When my father saw this, he immediately told the plumber to stop. He said firmly, "Don't touch anything. This is my house, and there will be no work without my consent." The moment my cousin heard this, he exploded with anger. He came charging forward, shouting at my father and at me. He accused us of cutting water connection, and then the fight turned violent. My cousin raised his hand against my father and me, and whole of neighborhood gathered to watch the fight. There was chaos, shouting, the pushing, the crowd watching, and in the middle of it all, my cousin screamed and threatened my father. "I'm doing this because you owe me $25,000, and remember, I'm not leaving this house for the next 3 or 4 years, not until we complete the construction of our house." Now he had declared his intention to stay in our home for years. After this incident, I continued my practice of supplicating to Allah with the prayer of Prophet Yunus and asked Allah to make them leave soon. A few months after the water fight, my uncle sent a message to my father through relatives demanding around $5 or $6,000 to lay the slab for the second floor of his new house. So this time, my father clearly told the mediators, "I will not give him a single penny until you tell me when he will leave my house. What if I hand over all the money and he still refuses to leave? Then what happens to us? We will be trapped in this misery forever." Now I could see my prayers being accepted. The argument went back and forth for weeks, with the relatives stepping in as mediators, and finally my uncle and his son laid down their condition. "Give us the remaining balance, the $25,000, within 1 month. If you do, we will vacate the house within the next 12 months. It was a painful demand, and my father did not have that much money, but my mother, with a heavy heart, sold her wedding jewelry. My father borrowed the rest from his relatives and in laws, and together, somehow we managed to gather the full amount, got the agreement papers signed with the uncle along with the witnesses. After we paid them the full amount, the agreement was that they would leave within 12 months. But by the grace and mercy of Allah, out of those 12 months, my uncle's family actually spent the first 7 months out of state because they travel for business during the winter season. That meant they get to live only for 5 months in our home. And today, as I record this video, there are just 2 months left before the 12 months are over. Once the time is up, they will be gone completely, inshallah. Think about it. They had planned to live in our home for 4 to 5 years, tormenting us every day. But Allah reduced their state to only 5 months. He turned their plan upside down. This is nothing but a miracle. This is the promise of Allah in action. I called upon Allah with prayer of Prophet Yunus, and within few months he removed our difficulties. My brothers and sisters, the entire purpose of narrating this story is to remind you of the divine and powerful promise we have from Allah, the Lord of the worlds, to rescue us from every difficulty. Yet despite this treasure, we keep wandering here and there in our hardships, searching for solutions while neglecting the very tasbih that holds the key to our relief. May Allah relieve all of our troubles. If you have any such miracle stories, please share it in the comments and do not forget to like and subscribe. And please share the video. Assalamu alaikum.